It didn't really surprise us. You know, they're an experienced team in midfield. I mean, you look at it and, you know, you take Johnson out of the mix, but he's already been in the league 3-4 years. But everybody else has been in professional soccer for like 10 years or more. So it's a very experienced midfield. And on that night, they were better than us. They were a little more composed on the ball than we were, you know, and we struggled connecting our first pass. We struggled getting out of that immediate pressure, and that played into their hands. You always end up going through somewhat of the same stages, except with the tightness of the games, everything becomes accelerated. So instead of spending maybe a day or two on the stage, you spend a half a day on the stage, and then you got to focus on. But you know, you have to look at what you did, just to remind yourself what didn't go well, you know, and what went well. And then you got to prepare yourself to make sure it goes better the next game. You have to be real, and you have to be honest with your team, but you don't have to be brutally honest, you know. So it's important, you know, that you let them know. Nobody wants you to lie to them. Nobody wants you to say, hey, you had a good game when you didn't have a good game, but you don't have to say that was the worst game I've ever seen. So from our standpoint, we know we didn't have a good game. We know we didn't win the duels. We know we have to stand up to the physical challenge in the playoffs, and historically that's probably been one of our drawbacks so far. The teams that have beaten us in the playoffs have physically dominated us. We didn't show it enough the other night, but sometimes it has to be triggered, and that's why sometimes for us there were some games where we took a goal, and after we took a goal, you know, then we'd come back. And even in the RSL game on Saturday night, you know, after they scored their goal, for the last 4 minutes of that half, we were all over them, and we could have equalized through Fernandez's header, and we stepped up immediately to that challenge, and that motivated us. And if we would have got the goal, then the game would have certainly turned out much differently. Our confidence would have grown, theirs would have gone back a little bit, but we didn't get the goal, and they took the initiative back at the beginning of the second half. So sometimes for us, we need to find that trigger, and maybe one more experienced player, somebody who has that in their mentality as a constant, you know, that could make that happen a lot quicker for us. We've got to get possession of the ball, so we've got to press a little bit more. We have to be smart about when we do it. We got to open them up. We got to be more aggressive in our duels. Those are all things that we need to do. Now, you know, if they have to change their personnel in the back, you know, that hopefully gives us an edge as they're starting to know each other or getting to know each other, or guys are playing in different positions, and hopefully we can use that to our advantage. Or if they have to play some guys and they're not 100%, you know, we've got to test them early and see exactly how close to 100% they are. We didn't get close enough to them at key times, and they were able to keep so much possession and shift us around the field that eventually he would find space. And you know, so their east-west play is what opened things up for them to be able to go north-south through Morales, and we have to do a better job of doing that as well. But he's also a player who's now coming back off his injuries, finding his way back into form. Can he come back on 3 days rest and come back with the same sort of performance? Obviously we hope not, but he's for sure a quality player, a special player, just like Rosales is for us. You know, they're players who aren't fearful of the big occasion, and players who have an ability to come through in those occasions. You know, with our team, we always talk about, you know, making history, whether it's, you know, winning the U.S. Open Cup, whether it's, you know, being in the playoffs 3 consecutive years as an expansion team, whether it's the point totals being greater than they were, achieving better records. And now we have an opportunity to, you know, to create a game and create a result that can go down in soccer folklore for sure for the city of Seattle and for our franchise. So that's our objective. You know, that doesn't take anything away from Real Salt Lake. They're a quality team, and we know we're in for a major fight. But we also feel we're capable of doing something special. And in order to do a miracle, you got to set the stage, and I think we set the stage.